Alrighty then. So, because we decided to have several historical events in the past week and a half, we get to have a news day today. I was going to have an Outlaws review today, so I'll give you the short of it. It's very mid. Um, Nothing terribly special, but we'll get into more detail later. But yeah, there's several historical events happened in the last week and a half, I think. So we're gonna go over those, and also a bit of Star Wars news. So, to lead off with the Star Wars news, the big one is that Disney seems to be going through and copywriting a significant number of extremely old videos on Theory's channel. Now, I say Disney and appears to because technically speaking, you can submit the request as anyone, but the rules under YouTube's guidelines and all that whatnot, you're supposed to be the actual owner of the music, and it's a do not make false claims situations. So, theoretically, this can only be filed by the Walt Disney Music Company. At least for this particular one, and given that it seems to be batch sent, I have no reason to believe this isn't the same person submitting the requests to all of them. Now, first off, why are you copywriting something as old as this? So the example post I'm giving you for the copyright is from a video that was posted November 29th, 2020. It's been up for 4 years. Why copyright it now? So I'm not some legal expert, but the way I see this is that this video, if it's not fair use, then neither is all of the cover songs you hear on a Starbucks or a Sonic radio fair use. Now, this leads me to the conclusion that it's in retribution for something. Now, I personally think that's probably the Star Wars Explained thing, but it's entirely possible it's something else. Maybe someone at Disney feels slighted by Theory doing his own personal videos like Vader Episode 2 and they're trying to shut him down before it comes out. I don't know. I just don't have that information. All I can say is what it looks like to me, and this looks like a retribution copyright. Someone's trying to stop Theory, and I don't 100% know why. Now, this extends all the way back to even the first fan film he did for the Vader one. That got copyrighted as well, and Theory has a video going over that a bit more in detail, saying things like there was an agreement between him and Disney where it wasn't supposed to be monetized at all, and now it's playing ads, which means either YouTube or somebody else has monetized it. If it's YouTube, it's YouTube. It's YouTube. I'm not going to say more on that. But if it's Disney, I guarantee what happened is this is a large corporation. Whoever was working there before and made that agreement with Theory took that agreement, filed it somewhere away, and now the person in charge of holding track of all of the agreements does not know that agreement exists because it's no longer the same person. It's possible it's something more malicious than that, but I'm not going to attribute motive where I have no idea of the culprit. So, next up, in other big news, Palworld, which I hope all of you know is a mostly rip-off of Pokemon, just got sued by Nintendo for copyright infringement on a copyright that Nintendo filed after Palworld was released. So, in short, Nintendo filed a patent for what's basically the Pokeball, and they got it in August, and shortly after filed a lawsuit against Palworld. Palworld's statement is that they do not know the direct lawsuits they're accused of ripping off, but considering the timing on the patent filing and the patent reception and then the lawsuit, kind of suspicious. Kind of feels like that's the one they were waiting for and hinging on this whole lawsuit on. And that's a scummy move on a good day. I'm not even sure that would hold up in a courtroom. Again, not a lawyer, but kind of seems to me like if a game gets released before you even file for your patent, I cannot see how you have grounds for saying that game infringed upon your patent. If anything, it should invalidate the patent. Overall, very scummy move, Nintendo. Though, surprisingly, about par for the course for them. At least in the legal department. Next on the chopping block is all of the exploding pagers over in Lebanon. Now, hopefully you've at least heard of this by now, but as a brief recap, over in Lebanon on September 17th, pagers belonging to Hezbollah which is designated as a terrorist group by the United States government, their pagers, yes, the electrical ones, started exploding. This has a reported injury numbers between 2,500 and 4,000, with 8 total people killed. And then, on the 18th, other small electronics started exploding as well, such as walkie-talkies. I heard one about a fingerprint scanner, but basically a bunch of anything that the Israeli version of the CIA, known as Mossad, could get their hands on and stick an explosive into. A lot of those started exploding. Now, this was initially reported as the devices were hacked and made to explode. I can assure you, they weren't. This is actually a very old tactic of sticking a bunch of explosive, like C4, into an object, giving it a transceiver, and then transmitting a signal to make the thing blow up. It can be stopped by opening the object. So if you have a pager and you're worried for some reason that Mossad has stuck something in your pager, just disassemble it, figure out what's inside it, and if for some reason there's an explosive in there, well, now you know, but odds are if you're not Hezbollah, it's not there. And then today, as of time of recording, which is 11 p.m. CST, September 19th, 2024, Israel has launched an airstrike into Lebanon. The stated goal being to destroy rocket launcher barrels from Hezbollah. Just things that were already prepared, aimed at Israel. They went in and they airstriked them, as the reporting says, from Israel. I've not been able to find a response from Hezbollah, but given the previous day's events, it's entirely possible that their laptops are just destroyed, so who knows? And finally, we have the second attempted assassination against Donald Trump. So from what I'm able to understand, investigate, and find out, the potential shooter was not able to get off any shots at Donald Trump. Apparently the only shooters were the Secret Service, and they caught him before he ever had eyes on Donald Trump in the first place. In addition to that, the man surrendered, meaning that no one died. It also means we know what kind of gun he used, and it was an SKS. I know all of the news reports you're seeing say AK-47. I went and looked at a gun tuber, guy by the name of Brandon Herrera. He specializes in AK-47s and variants and whatnot. He says it's an SKS. So if he says it's an SKS, that's what I'm going with. The dude built an AK-47, but in 50 cal. If he's calling it something, I'm trusting that. That said, I will give you all pictures that I've seen of the weapon itself, and then a picture of the SKS and a picture of an AK-47. So that way you can look for yourselves and kind of make the judgments where it really does look like it's an SKS. And here I'm actually going to give my opinion on this, which is, can we kindly stop trying to assassinate a former president and potential future president? This does not end well. I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. I've run as many scenarios as I can think of, trying to figure out how it goes. Basically, if X, Y happen, theory crafting and all, everything results in one way or another. There's a second civil war if Donald Trump is assassinated. And mind you, I've gone the other direction. It ends in the same way if Kamala Harris gets assassinated. So let's not try to balance this out by having 2 assassination attempts against her. Alright? We do not need to have this. Everyone needs to calm down and take a deep breath. This isn't going to help anyone. Okay? So, anyways, that's enough of raising my blood pressure for the evening. Y'all have a good night.